Awesome. Coti, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Yeah, so that's what I learned live.
Mariana, you take it from here.
Okay, so let's go. So guys, thank you very much for being here. We're starting a new series so we can learn from our icon agents. And our very first guest is going to be Coti. So as you saw yesterday, I've introduced her. She has some amazing numbers that she has done in the past years, and she's going to share with us. So Coti, you can take from here. Please let us know what we'll be learning from you. Just guys, remember, it's a 30-minute call, and we have to give 30 minutes because we have an appointment right after this one. So let's learn.
And if I may add to that very quick, Coti capped in 1 month and iconned in 3. So be that. So when I said you're learning from the horse's mouth, like the best in the industry, I don't think we have anybody who iconned as fast as you did, Coti.
Well, thanks for having me on. I honestly, it's so funny every time you say that because I didn't know any different. And I think that's kind of the key. I mean, you and I were talking the other day and you said, you know, how many agents you've attracted in the shortest period of time. And you said, well, I didn't really know any different. Like I just knew once I did it, nobody else had done it. So it just speaks volumes to when we set goals, accomplishing them. If we set our limits in our mind, like that's what we're going to achieve, right? I selfishly, when it comes to capping, I had started my career and quickly took off, and we actually co-owned a brokerage, and I paid a cap the entire time. So when I came to EXP, one of my number one goals was just to get rid of the damn cap. I was like, I've never made 100%, and hell or high water, I'm going to do that as fast as humanly possible. Right. So I didn't know what that was. I just knew that I wanted to make that money quick. So thank you guys so much for having me on here today. Very short version of my background. I'm actually still very, very new to real estate. I got licensed in July of 18. And, you know, my husband and I, we had just moved back to Michigan to be close to family. I didn't know really anyone here. I didn't have a sphere. I didn't have a territory. I didn't have anything. I had actually been a stay-at-home mom for about 4 years prior to that. When we moved back to Michigan, we were hitting a new season of life, and all the girls were going to be in school pretty much for full time. And so I knew that I wanted to do something else. Real estate was always something that stuck with me and was really close to my heart. My mom to this day has still never owned a home. She's a single mom. We moved like 20 some times by the time I graduated high school. And so a home was something that was very near and dear to me. And I think about how many people, you know, it's such a big deal, and also how much we take it for granted as realtors sometimes, and it's just a transaction. So when I got into real estate, I honestly I have to say it was a God wink. I feel like God put it on my heart, said, this is the path you're going to go on. But I knew I wanted to do it differently. I mean, there's a sea of realtors out there. And I knew that in order to hit the ground running, I had to do something different. So, you know, there's a couple of things I'll tell you if you have a pen and paper today that I'm going to tell you to write it down, because I looked back at all my business plans to prep for today. And then on your Team Gogo notepad there. But I sat down and I looked back at my very first notebook. And when I started in real estate and started my pre-licensing exam, I wrote down the sentence, what makes me different? And I put a question mark next to it. And I had like all this stuff, but it really had to boil down to one sentence.
Did you hear that? Can you answer the question, what makes you different? Mm-hmm. Why should someone choose you as a realtor versus choosing me versus choosing Coti? Like right. You have to have your differentiation factor, because one day someone's going to face you with the question, why should I work with you? Mm-hmm. You have to be able to answer that. You have to be solid in your knowing of who you are and what you bring to the table and what makes you different.
Absolutely. And in the beginning, it wasn't that I had more sales. It wasn't that I sold more homes. It wasn't that I'd been in real estate a long time. So I had to figure out from the beginning, what was my brand? What was my niche? And it's funny, you know, the path that I walked on, my brand had to be so strong in my cornerstone of what I do in real estate had to be so strong that I actually changed it a few times. But the cornerstone of what people can share as my story is still so consistent. So what I found was, you know, I would share with people, what makes me different is every single transactions systematically. We want to pour into this community one way or another. We want to pour in service hours, or we want to pour in donation. That's something we've never wavered on. So we really early positioned ourselves as a community leader in real estate, that we were the community realtor.
Can you tell us what that means for many who may not understand?
So, well, now what it means is, we work very closely. We're a 100% referral-based business. We work very closely with community leaders and community charities. Okay, but in the beginning, I didn't have those connections. So the other thing that what makes me different as you explore that, the other thing I'll tell you to write down is that you have to figure out where you're at in your business and the growth that you're at. Are you in an invest time place? Are you in an invest money place? Or are you someplace in between? And every single step of growth that you make in your business is going to require that question. It's going to require, am I investing time and am I investing money? So in the beginning, when I started in real estate, we had $0 to invest in real estate. Getting my license and getting the necessary real comp and knockboard, like my board of realtors, was the most money that we could spend in real estate. And that was a stretch. So I had time. So my time was invested in getting to know this community. So one of the things that I did very early on was use social media just to put out there, hey, I'm new to this area. I'm new back to this area. I don't know any of the local charities or local community influencers. Who are those people and why? People love to help. They really do. You just got to give them a platform to do it. I posted that probably 1 or 2 times a week and got different input. And then I'd reach out to those people. I'd reach out to, the local grassroots animal shelter. I'd reach out to the local grassroots food pantry. And I would say, hey, Barb, let me introduce myself. Our mutual friend on social media, Sarah, said that you are somebody that I need to get to know in this community. I would love to see if you might be open to going and grabbing a cup of coffee. So then I would either, a lot of them would ask me to come volunteer for an hour. I would come volunteer for an hour. How can I help, right? So then I would get to know, I'd spend 90% of that time getting to know about their business, their charity, whatever it is, because your local business owners, they want to work with you too, right? But they don't want somebody sleazy and slimy that's just looking for their own bottom dollar. They want to know, how are you going to help them? Nobody wants to help you until they know you're also going to help them as well. And
Give
not
before you take.
What was that?
Give before you take.
Absolutely. And I got to tell you got to be very humble with this, because we used to partner with somebody in our brokerage that used to give with the mentality of, I'm going to give and give and give because you're going to give me something back. And that's just bullshit. You need to give and give and give unconditionally and expect zero in return, quite frankly, because at the end of the day, it's not even about the people that you're giving to. It's about the people that are watching you give in your community. Okay. Maybe the person that, or the charity that you're giving and giving you to, they're not in a season of their charity or their life where they can reciprocate. Some people are tapped out and they cannot give back, and that's okay. Now, don't get me wrong. You have to be smart with where you spend your time. You can't just pour in and pour in and pour in and not have it, flow to your business. I always talk about the Dead Sea analogy within the Bible. Water's pouring in and pouring in and pouring into the Dead Sea, but the Dead Sea is actually losing volumes of water on its coastal line. But the Jordan River that pours into it has water pouring in and water pouring out. That's exactly like our business. You have to let people pour into you, and you got to pour back out. But anyway, that's what I did in the beginning. I only had time, so I reached out to those people. I probably did about 1 or 2 coffees a week. I went to the Facebook events where small businesses might say, we have a sidewalk sale, or we have, a grand opening for chamber. I went to everything I possibly could, because when you show up for people, they notice, because I promise you, everybody's busy and everybody's like, oh, I couldn't show up. And some of the people that they care about most don't show up for them. And when you show up for them, you make a big difference and you make an impact, right? And so I did that. In every charity event, I reached out to local charities and said, how can I help? And I was even upfront with them. Hey, I'm just getting my real estate business started here, Christy. I don't have a lot of funds to help, but I have time. And I would love to see how I can help you out. So be transparent with people. But I would spend 90% of those conversations listening about their business, listening about their charities. And then what I would ask them in return is just, you know what, hey, Chris, it's been awesome getting to know about your business. And I can't wait to be able to share. Now that I better understand your business, Chris, I'm going to be able to share this with other people that I run into. You know, I would love if you'd be open to it. May I give you one of my cards? What makes me different in real estate is I am looking to become the community real estate agent. And here's why. I care deeply about this community. I live in this community. My kids go to school in this community. It only benefits all of us if this community continues to strengthen. And whether that's by taking excellent care of our clients, helping with volunteer hours, or donating where I can down the road, I want to be that person. I want to earn the right for you to share my name. Would you be open to me giving you a card? Everybody said yes, because I just spent the last 90% of our time listening to their goals and their dreams and their business, right? So that is how I went.
And also you offer to help them grow, offer to share their business and your social media profile so then they can get before you take. Did you notice that she offered first before she asked them if she can even give them a business card? And she already gave volunteer hours, and she already interviewed them, and she already spent time with them, and she already got to know them. So then now I can promote you to help you grow. And then in return, can I earn your business? Right. So you don't ask before you take.
Absolutely. It just goes back to that big time or money question. Most of us do not start our business where we have thousands and thousands of dollars to throw at paid leads. Even though I had a very quick partnership and we ran, we co-owned a brokerage, even though we had the money to throw at it, I will tell you, I quickly realized that was not how I wanted my business to go. It was more time, less loyalty, less relationships with clients. It just wasn't how I wanted to build a foundation. And I felt if you talk about a transactional lifestyle, my opinion is that building your backbone on a Zillow or a Realtor is forever a transactional lifestyle, because trying to keep up with those leads coming in, it's great for right now, but then what kind of time does that give you to build relationships with those people you really connect with? So I had to take a short-term hit for a long-term goal, and it really paid off, because in 6 months, I said, I don't really want to be part of these leads anymore, and went from, about 60% of my business down to 40% of our business within that first year, saying 0% of my business is going to come from leads. And it paid off, because we went from 10 million our first year to 13 million our next year to here we are year to date at already 8 million in volume. It pays off, but it doesn't come for free. You're either going to have to pay for it with money, or you're going to have to pay for it with sweat equity. You're going to have to pay in time. And I like people better than I like giving away money. So I will tell you, I'll give away money for the other things, like the systems I need to put in place and everything else. But to me, a lot of that money into paid leads is a great piece of your puzzle or a tool in your tool belt, but I wouldn't make it your foundation. You make your community your foundation. Find a way to make that your niche. So, I mean, that's a big overview of it. What kind of questions, I guess, does anybody have? So I'm not saying the same stuff over and over again.
So please unmute yourself and ask away. This is your opportunity to ask absolutely anything. Coti, is there anything we can ask you?
Welcome to ask me anything.
There you go.
I have a question. I'm Care. Hi, I'm from Chicago.
Love your name.
So what do you recommend? So obviously my city is huge, and we're completely oversaturated with agents. So I am on the board at the Chamber of Commerce, and I'm on the promotions committee and all of that stuff. Since COVID though, things in that aspect have slowed down. So we really haven't met and all of that stuff. But what do you recommend when you're competing with so many other agents? And I mean, there's literally and I think that in my community, a lot of agents go to these things because they know, and kind of what you said, I have to be different, but what else do you recommend that I do?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think it's funny because Gogo always talks about, for my business, doing a red light, green light test. My husband and I are a husband and wife team. We actually retired him from corporate America about 6 months into real estate because we got so so busy. It was a total God wink. But we had to do a red light, green light test for our roles in our business and the things that we each enjoy doing. And now again, I kind of do it over again. I would look at a red light, green light for your niche, same kind of thing. What are you spending time on right now that you don't like? Where would you rather spend time? Because there is plenty of business. I know there's so many agents out there. I say this all the time, and don't get me wrong. I wish that there were the agents that didn't want to take this seriously, or maybe only did a transaction for their uncle. I wish they'd kind of go away. But at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter. There is plenty of business for all of us. Unfortunately, we've got what I think the last number was like over 87% goes to like the top less than 5% or something. That's disgusting. That just means people ain't out there, making it a priority. They're making this an option. So you have to fine tune your skills. And by skill sets, don't worry about competing with, don't worry about competing with the people, myself or bigger, because you're not their competition. You're not. Honestly, you have something so golden to offer people that we don't. They're always going to get to deal with you, right? I'm at a place, and Gogo's at a place where, they call us for a listing, they call us for an appointment. I'm not necessarily the person showing up to that. And that's how I approached all my first clients. Was I would go to them and say transparently, hey, I need you to know something. I am a go-getter. I am an accomplishment junkie, and I'm going to take damn good care of you. And I realize that, Scott Myers and all these other bigwigs might have shown up and they do all this volume, but I'm going to be able to be dedicated to you. Why? Well, because quite honestly, right now, I don't have the clientele book that they have, but I will someday. And so you're going to be really excited to know that I got to take care of you now while I have this kind of time. But I would find your niches, because one of our local agents, a good amount of her business that she has comes solely from her church. Like, that's it, 100%, right? And she does great. Then we have another agent that she worked a lot with the Humane Society, and she worked, I think, with her school at some point. And like, that's it. You have to find one or two pools of people that you actually enjoy the shit out of, and then just be there for them. You don't have to compete with all. I mean, I think that sometimes we go into real estate and we're trying to cast such a big net that we catch nothing. You don't got to cast that big of a net. I mean, I live in a town. Oh my gosh, I don't even know what it is right now, but I think we might have 30,000 people in our city, town, or whatever it is. It's not that big. Gogo lives in freaking Pinckney. Try to find that damn place on the map.
Exactly. Population of 9,000.
So
you have to. So if I may add to that very quickly, figure out here, what are you so good? What do you love? What do you enjoy? Like, one of the groups that I belong to, one of the moms, it's a mom group and real estate, but mom group. And she was like, well, I'm not Gogo. I don't have a boot camp to offer. I don't have a coaching program. I don't feel comfortable in front of the camera. So then the other host of the podcast was asking, okay, so what do you enjoy? She's like, well, I'm an equestrian. I have a horse farm and blah, blah, blah. She's like, okay, how many people board their horses at your place? And he was like, I don't know. And then so we got into that conversation. Next thing you know, now all of her sources of leads come from the equestrian farm, because that's her baby. That's what she truly loves doing. But guess what? Every single homeowner, actually every single horse owner, has to have a roof above their head, correct? They have to live somewhere. Maybe it's your bulldog lover community. Maybe it's a type 1 diabetic group that you belong to. Maybe it's your high school friends and you are the head of that Facebook group. Like, whatever that is that you love, every single person, raise your hand if you can live somewhere without a roof. I mean, could we live under the sky in a tent? Yes, we could. But is that ideal? No. Everybody needs to have a roof over their head. So everybody is your potential client. Now you just have to find your group. Like, who are your people? Where do you love being? Because if you love what you do, you don't work a day in your life. I don't work. Right. I get to do what I love. So, Care, what are those things that you love doing? Who are your people?
So I have to do some soul searching first.
Yeah. I love that comment, but I do think if you love what you do, you'll work the shit out of it, and then you'll definitely collapse once in a while and then reevaluate. I think that's kind of the path that you go on, but you'll love it nonetheless.
I always say it's like entrepreneurship, it's like a spaghetti.
Oh,
like right. It's not a straight line. It's not before cooked. It's more like after cooked. It's like this in a bowl.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, you know how you're going to get there. It's not a straight shot. You're going to get there. It's just how you're going to get there. So yeah, do some soul searching and figure out who you are, what you bring to the table. Like, I don't compare myself to anybody of like, are there top trillion freaking mega icon teams out there? Absolutely. But when I got into the industry, I was very certain of what I'm not willing to do. The door knocking, the cold calling, the farming, the this and that. And then I was also certain that I'm a winner. I am no loser. So I will make it in this industry, but I might have to make it my way. What is my way? So I did the process of elimination, and it left me social media. That was the only thing I could afford, and the only thing I enjoyed, and it came easy to me. So it was not work. So even though I'm still, what are we now, 2021, 11 years in, I'm still the oddball out. I'm like, oh, social media, does that really work? You know what I mean? But if you love what you do, you will make it work. You will make it your baby. So whatever that skill is that God installed inside of you, we all have skills that the other person doesn't. Now, I want you to go read this book. Since Carrie, you said you need to do some soul searching, I want you to read the book called The Greatest Salesman.
I already have that because you posted it on Instagram
Now,
a million years ago.
Handy? Do you have it handy?
Yeah, it's in my library.
Can you go grab it very quick?
Yeah, hold on 1 second.
And then we're going to put her on the spot.
I think the other thing, as you're saying this though, like you just went through, you go, I knew I wasn't going to door knock. I knew I wasn't going to do this. I think that you have the ability to say, I know I'm not going to like this. If you don't, I'll tell you, don't let somebody else tell you something that doesn't work. I mean, we recently did a broker's open where there was, somebody else within my agent sphere that said those don't work, and it may very well, or open houses or whatever. Oh, those don't work. Some of my best clients came from those things. Some of my best transactions. Every single thing in real estate works if you do it consistently. Okay. You don't go and do one open house and go, oh, I didn't get a client. That didn't work. You don't post one post on social media and you didn't get a listing. You go, oh, that didn't work. Every single thing works in real estate, but you have to work it. You have to be consistent at it.
Yeah. So Kiara, you have the book. Can you put your camera on?
Oh, I look like crap.
No matter what you look like, this is what I look like. I'm in a t-shirt. Okay. Okay. So open up to chapter 10. I think it's 10 or 11. I am nature's greatest miracle.
10
or 11, I think it is.
I think it's 10. Well,
I would go find mine, but it's somewhere upstairs. They're getting renovated in a box, in the bottom of a box somewhere.
But the chapters aren't like marked. That just says
they're marked.
The scroll marked 1.
Yeah, that's the scroll. Okay, so go to 10, 9 or 10 or 11, somewhere up there.
Okay. 10.
Is it I'm nature's greatest miracle?
No.
Okay, Coti, somebody ask another question until Kier finds it, so we're not wasting time. And then Kier, let us know when you find I am nature's greatest miracle. So Coti, what's the percentage that you give away on a transaction back to a organization? Is there a certain percentage, or how do you do that?
Yeah, well, I'm going to tell you, it really depends. And every agent that works with us gets to decide, obviously, in the beginning, if they want to do time, or if they decide they want to do donations, or they just want to decide that as an impact agent, what they do is they just make sure that they're making the best damn transaction they possibly can. But when I first started, I did 10% of all transactions, which I quickly realized with all the overhead was a lot, right? But it also gained me a lot of traction and gained me a ton of marketing, because I didn't spend a single penny in marketing. That's all I did was I did the donations.
Yeah.
And then I market the heck out of it. I posted it on what I do. What we typically do now is around 5% of which ends up usually being about 1% of the sale. But what we would do is we'll take a picture at closing. I post it. I tag the clients. I ask them to also share it. And since they're picking a local charity, which we've also vetted, and we ask them to usually pick within one of the ones we have, it's the biggest thing is it has to be local. I will not donate to a charity that's outside of our area, because again, a little self-serving, but this is marketing for me. I always tell my clients, I said, I'll donate. I'm going to let you get the credit for choosing them, but these are my marketing dollars. Instead of throwing a billboard up and throwing out flyers and postcards and everything, this is my marketing, and I'm going to ask you to be my marketing partner and share this with me. And then I will give it to the charity, and I'll say, here's your, live check. The one stipulation is I just ask that you post it on your social media, post it on your website, post it on your mailers. Whatever you do, I ask the charity to partner with me on marketing as well, so that my name and face and our donation gets out there to all of their email lists.
Thank you. Kiera, did you find it?
Yes, I did.
Awesome. Read me the first paragraph out loud. Well, read it to us. And here is where I want you all to understand that God created you and God does not make mistakes. So you have skills that you don't have, and I have skills that you don't have. So as soon as you find that skill that God put inside of you and you start putting that skill to use, you will never work a day in your life.
So I am nature's greatest miracle. Since the beginning of time, never has there been another with my mind, my heart, my eyes, my ears, my hands, my hair, my mouth. None that came before, none that live today, none that come tomorrow, can walk and talk and move and think exactly like me. All men are my brothers, yet I am different from each. I am unique. I am a unique creature.
There you go. So you can read the rest of that. But as soon as you realize that, yes, we have each other as brothers and sisters, but we all have individual skills. There's not two people on this earth that have the same retina. That's why it can recognize you. There's not two people on this earth that has the same DNA. There's not, that's why they can recognize who you are from, on God forbid you did something wrong. There's no two people on this earth that have the same fingerprint. It's never been. It's like a snowflake. There's not two snowflakes the same. God created each of us to be different. We each have skills. We all bring something to this earth to make this earth a better place. So as soon as you do some soul searching and you find what that skill is that God put inside of you, and you put that skill to use, you'll reach any goal you ever set to yourself. And you will run smiling. You'll be so excited to wake up and get to do it again.
Thank you.
You are so welcome. So find out what it is. You'll never work a day in your life.
You'll figure it out along the way too. And it will change over time. Like, that's the other thing. Things that I enjoyed doing right in the beginning are not things I necessarily enjoy now. And that's okay. So,
Coti, how can everybody get a hold of you? Because we have to cut it short. I have a 1:30 on this Zoom account. What's the best way for anybody to get a hold of you?
Instagram and Facebook.
And your Instagram account?
It is just Coti Brown Realtor. COTI Brown Realtor.
Thank you. Well, I hope everyone, you took great nuggets today. We'll do the icon series. We're going to have every week a different icon from Team Gogo, and then they go on rotation. So next time when Coti comes on, she's going to talk about something different that helped her to get to where she's at today. And every time you get to take a nugget, every time you get to learn from someone who's been there, done it, so you don't have to learn the hard way, which is by implementing, making mistakes, and then realizing it's not for you. Best way is to learning from other people's mistakes. Well, thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Coti, for your time.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bro.
Thank you.